Objects of Korea, objects of Korea, objects of Korea starts now. Ta-da! Hi everyone, welcome back to Objects of Korea. You're wondering, what is the object for this video? Well, I'll give you a sneak preview. It is my signed, Kara CD! Yay! So today's segment is on Kara and this CD, but more importantly, what Kara's music did and how it transformed my life. And this Kara CD is a representation of this. So let's start about this object. This is the 2011, their third album. It's called Step. This is their special edition, and it was signed by all the members of that time, as you can see. So I actually won this CD through a contest by the Korean Culture Center. And it was like, do a video, do a story, do a poem, do a song about this. They did like one every month. It was a different artist. And this one was Kara, how Kara impacted you. And I won first place, the grand prize for that month for Kara. And so this CD represents my story with Kara and their music. So if you might know from my streams, I talk about Kara's first album, First Blooming, how it's one of the first Korean albums I bought. It is. I bought like 4-5 albums my first time in Korea. I bought First Blooming by Kara, Cheerful Sensibility by FT Island, Enlightened by Dynamic Duo, Never Say Goodbye by Baby Vox REV. I think that was the first 4. And I love First Blooming. I could not turn it off. So you have to understand, when I went to Korea for the first time, we talked about this within the Dinos hat last time, is that I wasn't huge into my culture or heritage. I knew I was adopted from Korea, and I did it like superficial interest, but I wasn't really that interested. I was not that invested in my heritage as a Korean. One of the things that changed that is my introduction to K-pop and Korean music with this Kara CD, for instance, and what it represents. As I told you, I first heard, I really connected, so I bought this music. I was like, great music, yeah, this is awesome. But it actually was the music video of Staring Blankly, Bukuromi by Jia, and the music video got me really hooked. And I started listening to a lot of K-pop music. I bought a lot of K-pop. And I said First Blooming was one of the albums. And out of all the albums, I couldn't stop listening to First Blooming the most. Closely followed by Dynamic Duo. But K-pop is what first got me very invested into my culture. It was my gateway back to exploring my heritage. And after that, I listened so much Korean music that helped me go, oh, well, this is cool. Let's explore. I've always been a history buff, so let's explore Korean history. And I started delving a little more into Korean history beyond the superficial level. I was like, oh, man, I really like my language. And but I don't know. And so that drove me to get a Korean tutor and start learning Korean. And then I started reading about the society issues. I want to learn more about adoption in South Korea. That all stemmed from listening to K-pop and Kara. This opened my eyes to my heritage and made me go like a dive in the deep end. I did a cannonball in the deep end. Previously, I would just put my foot in the shallow end. After K-pop, just cannonball right in the deep end. No problem. Just whoosh. And I immersed myself. And since then, music, especially Kara, have been with me since then. I listened to them. They served as my gateway into K-pop. I still listen to K-pop to this day. Actually, at this point, in 2011, this didn't come out. This came out in 2011. I got this like 2012. Maybe it was the fall of 2011. Actually, it was the fall of 2011. I would sort of stopped listening to K-pop as a whole. I listen to some groups, and I'm not a huge fan of Kara after First Blooming because they changed their music, but I love Step. And this CD itself helped get me back invested into K-pop. So I would listen to my artists. So I had artists I would listen to, and I enjoyed it. But like this opened me up again to exploring more K-pop because like I was so disappointed with how Kara changed from their cute, pure sort of 2007-esque type K-pop songs from First Blooming, like If You Want It, Broken Promise, Break It, those songs. I'll Be There, all those songs, to much more sexy dance pop, and I was not ready for it. But then I listened to Step, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really liking this Kata song. It got me back into Kata, and it got me back into more general K-pop, beyond the groups and artists I would just solely listen to. And I've been able to take that to today, where I stream K-pop content. I'm a K-pop streamer. That's basically all I stream. And it's all because of Kata and what this CD represents. And going further back, it's Kata that got me into my heritage. And it's gotten me to be the person I am today, where I've embraced my Korean side. I embraced my American side, and what I've noticed is that it's helped me form my identity, my personal identity. And I personally identify as one of my primary identities as a Korean American adoptee. And K-pop and Kata helped me with that. They helped me embrace my Korean side that previously I did not accept. I did not delve into. They got me there. And then when I started reflecting and going back and sort of like trying to figure out, well, how does the Korean American and adoptee all mix together? Kata helped me with that balance. K-pop helped me with that balance. It reminded me like, so I went like full in, and then I was like, oh, and then I got disillusioned somewhat. And I'm like, okay, maybe not. And then K-pop brought me back, and it helped me go into this equilibrium balance between the three forces of being adopted, being Korean, and being American. So this object of Korea is very special to me because of how much good it has done in my life. Got me to embrace my heritage. It helped bring me back to Korean culture when I was disillusioned a bit. And it's helped me as a tool to form my current identity. But it's also helped me figure out how to utilize one of my passions for people. I stream, not just for my own satisfaction, but to bring K-pop to other people, especially newer K-pop fans who might not listen to older Korean music like I do. And I like to share my personal stories to show like how the forces of K-pop can be for good and can help people's lives. Now that might sound over dramatic, but it's true. Okay. We're not going to go into this video, but I'm happy to on live stream on Twitch or in a future video. But it's not a stretch to say K-pop, Kata, and even this album helped change my life. So this is it for this object of Korea. In this next object Korea, I am keeping a surprise. You'll just have to wait patiently until that one comes out. Oh, I'm so excited to show you what the next object is, but it's a secret. Be meal. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time on Objects of Korea, I hope you enjoy. Be sure to check out other Objects of Korea videos by the Emperor on YouTube, as well as on Twitch, because that's where he premieres them live. Also, be sure to check out his other series, such as The Path to King on YouTube, as well as on his premieres on Twitch. So give him a follow on Twitch, YouTube, join the Discord, join everything. Until next time, the Emperor is signing off. His grace is immeasurable.